In today's video, we're going to look at a real-life home invasion that was caught on camera that turned into a shootout and what we can learn from it. Hey, in today's video, we're going to look at a real-life home invasion that was caught on camera and it actually turned into a shootout when the good guy decided to defend himself with a gun. We're going to look at what went right, what went wrong, and then we're going to see what we can learn from this real incident. If you don't know me yet, my name is Caleb Lee. I am the #1 best-selling author of Concealed Carry 101. I'm also the founder of Patriot Training Center, where we teach civilians like you how to defend themselves using pistols, rifles, and shotguns. So let's get into today's video. Obviously, it starts here with the bad guy stupid around the house after he broke in. Good guy's in his bedroom. All right, so bravo to our good guy here. He got the job done. As you can see, the suspect ended up going down and stopped the fight, and then looks like he collapsed as soon as he got out of the door. And according to the news story that I read about this, the good guy was able to give an interview, and he had been shot, obviously, multiple times, but he was recovering. And then his girlfriend was also in the bed behind him. We can take a look at that here again as we play this. You can see as this guy comes in, basically he explains that he just started firing, and then obviously the suspect was firing at him, but behind him, his girlfriend was still laying in the bed, and she was also struck with bullets, and it sounded like she was having a pretty hard time, but they were both recovering, and they survived, so that's good. So let's just go back a little bit. According to the news story, the good guy said that, I think there was a friend in the house also that was held at gunpoint by the suspect out here, so he knew that something was going on, and he knew that the guy was coming into his bedroom. And according to the news story, he said, I pretty much didn't have time to react. All I had time to do was grab my gun. And I was just waiting there because I knew he was coming to the bedroom next. So that's kind of where this picks up. All right. And then we can kind of see here, again, no offense to the good guy. I'm so happy that he fought back and he chose to do that because obviously he probably saved his life and his girlfriend's life. And who knows what could have happened after that. But, at least he had the gun and he was willing to fight. One thing I will say is it doesn't look like he had much training or didn't have very much automaticity there. You can kind of see his hands all over the gun there. He's got it kind of down at a low angle, like he's not really committed to what he's doing, even when he starts firing. And he just pops off some shots reactively, not using the sights and all that. And obviously he took some shots and he started collapsing down, and then we can hear him moaning there. Thankfully, the bad guy must have got the worst end of it because he immediately ran away. It looks like he broke contact, and then we can see him stumble out of the house and falling down there. So there is a few things when I saw this. I was like, first of all, good job on the good guy for fighting back. Again, nothing that I'm saying about the way that he was defending himself I shouldn't be taken as an insult or anything like that. It's just what I'm seeing, and I'm kind of talking out loud here. The main thing that I think about here, especially with his girlfriend being in the back and also being shot, him being shot and everything like this. Obviously, this is kind of like a worst case scenario. This appears to be a very small bedroom here. So there's not really a whole lot of room to kind of barricade and be ready for something like this. But what I would encourage you to do is war game scenarios like this. If you have a room of your house, which is a very good idea, if instead of going out into the house and like trying to clear rooms and doing all this type of stuff, most of the time, if you have children in another room, obviously that's a consideration. You're going to have to go take care of the children, and you have to leave your room. But if you're in a situation like this, two adults and they're just pretty much there alone, there's the last ones in the house, barricading in that room, that is a smart idea. But then take a little more time to war game exactly how you're going to do that. It looks like he was standing directly in front of the door. Obviously, it may have been a better idea to stand like to the side of the door, right? Doors open from the side, and then maybe he would not have been in the direct line of sight, and he could have seen the bad guy first before the bad guy saw him. And instead of a shootout, he could have just put a couple into him and then not got shot himself. And then, or maybe he had already thought about that, but because his girlfriend was in the bed, he was trying to shield her with his body. I don't really know what was going through his mind. I'm just kind of speculating here. But it would also be a good idea to war game with your significant other. You know, what are you going to do when I grab the gun and then I'm going to be standing, trying to stronghold this door, and I'm going to deal with the situation here. You know, you should not be in the direct line of sight. You know, maybe they're, again, not much cover here, right, at all. It's a very small room, but maybe behind the desk that the TV is at, she could be hiding down in that corner. At least there's some ballistic protection from that little bit of furniture that's in the way, or even down on the floor, back behind the bed, preferably with another gun herself, like a shotgun or something like that, right? So wargaming different scenarios about how you're actually going to defend your home, I think, is extremely valuable. And then that way, when this type of situation presents itself, it's not going to be, you're not going to be stuck in that kind of mode where you're just reacting and you don't really have a plan, right? So I think that's a really good idea for anybody involved. Anybody that has a gun and they're planning to use it for home defense. Okay. So that's basically just what stuck out to my mind here when I saw this video floating around online, and I thought I'd talk about it here. I would like to know your home defense plans. If this, what you think you could do differently, or how you're going about it in your everyday life. If you have a gun for home defense. And again, if you have a gun, it really doesn't matter. If you have a gun, the more trained that you are, the better your chances are of surviving something like this. Again, not insulting this guy, not trying to knock him or anything like that, because he stood up and he did the job and got it done. But again, it doesn't appear that he was trained. You're going to have a much better chance of survival if you are trained and you practice with your firearm. That's why we put out the free videos that we do. That's why you can check out the description below, and you can check out our 3-second minimum drill standard, where it's basically a standard that we think all gun owners in America should be able to pass, like a minimum standard. That's why it's called that. So that you could successfully defend yourself in a situation like this. You don't have the skills necessary. And you can come train with us at patriottrainingcenter.com. And let me know your thoughts in the comment about this and your home defense plans, and I'll see you in the next one.